Oh, yes.
Yes.
We had written some poems, and the first 5 poems are using a template from a Ted Berrigan poem, and so what we did was we decided we'd have a few themes going through this particular template, and then after we've read those 5 particular poems, in which you'll probably notice the repetitions, we wrote a collaborative thing.
Brief.
And Jeff is going to start proceedings now.
Here I am at 7 a.m. in the Commonwealth of Nations, but the air is loveliest on the way to the 4th Clyde Isthmus. I drink some Ivor Cutler common sense and am minutely irregular. The streets of Lonely Island look as lonely as the only ones, and I go down to the sea in small ships of man. Who would have thought that I'd be here? Not good old McAllister or McAlpine, Macpherson or even Shirley MacLaine. The headmaster says the sonnet is dead and I love you. My poet thoughts go through my head. English girls in suits. I am hopeless in the war with Spain. When will I ever be invaded? Alone and half French, I slip softly away from the netball semi-finals. The world's flimsiest song flows through my herringbone.
I'll just turn on here and let's go. Here I am at Flagellation AM in Vaseline and caps. The air is a typo for hair on the way to the border between Gregory Isaacs. I drink some of his Japanese sap and am ad-libbing on the floor with a man. The streets, filled with hipsters, look at the injustices of the world and solve them by shopping, as if there really was an I, not an other. Who would have thought that I'd be here? Not good old Jimmy Savile, or Rolf Harris, Stuart Hall, or even Dave Lee Travis. The rap sheet says that none of them ever touched me, even though they wanted to. My poet thoughts go through my head. Is Jeff's poem better than mine? But fuck, I think, no way! And then I think, we are alone on this planet because we do not take you seriously. I mean, really. When will I, or when will any of us, ever write a poem that makes a jot of difference to what is happening in Palestine? Alone and scary like a metaphor about a can or a worm, I slip slowly upon the skin of a ripe plantain which has been left in front of me on the pavement. The world's blah, 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 blah song flows through my linen trousers, down my legs, and into my grey knee-length mountaineering socks and open-toed sandals.
Here I am at 4 a.m. alone in the Rod Stewart Hall of Fame. The air is colossal on the way to the Colosseum. I drink some more and think if I am sexy. The streets of Archway look to Rod Stewart as Rod Stewart looks to the streets of Rostov-on-Don. I'm not really there or here. Who would have thought that I'd be here? Not good old Rod or good old Ron or even Rod. The Ronettes say Rod is dead. My poet thoughts go through my head, oh Rod. I am meanwhile Rod for a day. When will I again do Ron? Oof, alone and oof. The crystals and I slip softly through the door. The world's wrong song flows through my conservatory floor.
Here I am at TV AM, in bed with a woman called Lola. The air is splashing around my sense of genital outrage on the way to an interview for the Judith E. Wilson Poetry Championship. I drink some juice of the peculiar and am looming over an ant in the late 21st century. The streets around Brick Lane look like the Hitler Astrodome. Who would have thought that I'd be here? Not good old Wallace Stevens, or even the millions of knobbers who didn't buy my last novel. The Guardian says, but I don't read that shit after they refuse to condemn the war in Iraq. My poet thoughts go through my head. Trees, leaves, seasons, flowers, clouds. Metaphor, simile, death, life, kittens, adultery, alimony, fame, resentment, competition, indigestion, lust, secrets, competition, poetry, competitions, exhaustion, metaphor, simile. I am disappointed with new, astonishing volume. When will I? But the answer is never. Alone and 3/4 of the way to being off my tits, covered in tiny golden triangles from the bottoms of numerous hand-made pan-fried crisp packets and half-popped pieces of popcorn. I slip softly into undergarments of finely woven blue rice paper. The world's ruinous and ecstatic song flows through my overuse of adjectives in this poem.
Here I am at something AM in something cinema. The air is universal tartan on the way to rough wooing. I drink a mile of Pepsi and am in a sudden cowboy place. The streets of Laredo look as confused as I, Sir Marmaduke Twang. Who would have thought that I'd be here? Not good old Sir Ralph or Sir Ingram, Sir Giles or even Sir Long John Baldry. The Book of Kells says I am in the wrong battle. My poet thoughts go through my head. Jeff, I am only in Hither Green. When will I cow punch the cow puncher? Alone and going gay, I slip softly through the heather. The world's idiotic song flows through my fife.
So this was the last one.
Yes, a little collab. It does have a Scottish theme. I thought that's what you were supposed to be doing, so. To love my Antigonish tartan, it was like Larry Lamb finding I came out of nowhere.
Predominantly green, with blue, red, yellow and cream highlights.
You say your thread count's bigger than mine.
As thick as black puddings made on muggy days in McDonald's.
Before hunting the beaver of MacArthur Park.
Corporate tartan opportunity.
Like Dino De Laurentiis is considered to be a breach of Wagga Wagga.
I have not so much as read his poetry as stepped in it.
Up to the middle is usually agreeable.
Avoiding the legions of bastards and their opinions.
On Mull of Kintyre, without wings, with the Wombles, without women.
At the Calypsonian Genital Excitement Club fortnight camp.
There we wept when we remembered Iron Man.
Looking for lubricant to aid induction.
Into the Smoky Robinson Caledonian Genital Peculiar.
Mortlake and Mitcham over 40s bomb making and topiary.
In the camper van, just say that you love me.
Jeff,
And I, in the Tunnocks factory listening to Tusk,
protruding through the hole in the middle.
the ladyboys of Bangkok.
Steve, Peter, Marcus, Richard, Jessica and Amy.
Bringing light out of darkness, out of Logan's Run.